Welcome everyone to this webinar about sales onboarding and talking about a full process today to faster onboard your sales reps by 5 times. What will you get at the end of this webinar? And first of all, you will get a sales onboarding process template with 60+ steps. I call it template because obviously it should be customized towards your needs. You get free access for up to 3 users to build, roll out, and monitor your own onboarding process. Because building an onboarding process is one thing, but obviously you need to roll it out to the new joiners and you need to monitor the execution of that as well. And for those who are really very, very much interested in setting up the onboarding process as best as possible, we have a free 1-hour consulting session on how you can build your onboarding program. What does this mean? We take the template we share obviously with you today, and then we together with you customize this template in the right steps and in the right needs. Stay here until the end. We will be sharing the link towards the onboarding process template. We will be sharing the link for the free access to the free users. You can play a little bit around and build your onboarding process within a great platform, and 1-hour free consulting where we talk how we can help you in setting all of this up. But first of all, before we really jump into it, I'd like to share some statistics with you, which are very, very much of importance. 62% of organizations feel their sales onboarding programs aren't ineffective. And if your organization is one of them, we will change that today. We will make you one of these organizations who are effective. What does this actually mean? That means more than 60% of the organizations out there don't onboard their sales reps in a proper way. And this is obviously a problem because onboarding is the most important part in the whole sales journey. And we will talk also about why. And this is one very, very good reason here why you should look into your onboarding process. It takes actually 4.9 months on average to ramp up your sales team. And imagine that reps stay only 2.4/2.6 years in their roles. So what does this mean? That means that 20% of the whole onboarding or of the whole actually employment is onboarding. And when you think about that, 1/5 of the time of a seller is just purely onboarding. And that's why this is so important. If we take a whole year, it means that 5 months, almost 2 quarters, are onboarding time. And only after month 5, in month 6, you hopefully get some revenue out of this sales rep. Statistics shows that it then takes another 5 months, obviously, until something is closed. Why? People have to build up the pipeline and so on and so forth. So overall, it can take up to 11 months, almost a year, until you see first return of a sales rep you hired. That's why this onboarding topic is so essential on that side. What's happening if you focus on onboarding? Actually, 16.2% see an improved quota attainment with effective onboarding. And that's huge. If you look at your numbers today, if you see sales reps, for example, bringing in you 300K a year, 16% on these 300K, we talk about 40K, we talk about almost 50K, what you can get here in addition. In addition, there is some soft facts which are very, very important. And imagine plus 50%, you get a greater new hire retention with a standardized onboarding process. What does this actually mean? Your chances that someone leaves the company decrease when you have a better onboarding program. That's so important to focus on onboarding. There are also statistics out there which show that it's decided within the first couple of days and weeks how long a sales rep is actually staying within your organization. So that's why it's so essential and so important to focus on that. this number blew me away. It wasn't new to me, I must say, but it blew me away. Why? The costs of replacing a sales rep after a bad hire is $115,000 in average. Why? The hiring process takes time, energy, and resources. The onboarding process takes time, energy, and resources. There are even wasted resources because a seller is not becoming productive. All of that together is 115,000. Yeah. So now it's first of all important to hire the right candidates. We will not focus on that today, but once you have the right candidate, it's equally important to also onboard them in the right way, because otherwise their resources and your resources are wasted. So focus on that to avoid that you through $115,000 out of the window. G2 reported, so G2 is also where our platform got 2 rewards in the last 6 months about a newcomer and a leading performer. And they say savings in onboarding time for reps that go through the best sales onboarding programs is 3.4 months. So just to emphasize that once more, in average, it takes 4.9 months to onboard a rep. The best ones, you can decrease this time and by 3.4 months. So it's almost 1.52 months of onboarding. And that's what we will be looking into today, how you can make that happen and in which direction we go there. 84% is lost within 90 days. What do I mean by that? 84% of everything a sales rep is learning during the onboarding is actually typically lost within 90 days, as long as they are not applying it, obviously. Yeah. And this is a general statistic that everything you teach your sales reps is lost within 90 days. So that's why it's so important to keep repeating the same thing over and over again, ideally quarterly, because otherwise you will not produce the right amount of revenue and the right amount of onboarding motivation your team needs. Let's summarize that once more very quickly before we jump into the onboarding process today. First, we talked about 62% of the organizations out there. So 6 out of 10 organizations have a bad onboarding program that is not effective. We want to change that. That's our mission as well here at Kickscale, to help you guys and help everyone out there who wants to have a better sales onboarding program. These 2 metrics are very, very connected to each other. It takes in average 4.9 months for onboarding the sales rep, and you can decrease this by 3.4 months, so almost to 1.52 months if you have a great onboarding program. So don't underestimate the onboarding program. As mentioned, these 5 months are really once the sales rep is getting productive. That means they generate pipeline, they set up meetings. It takes another 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months until they close something. So that's why in the onboarding, you set the groundwork for everything here. Furthermore, 16.2% improve quota attainment with effective onboarding. It's almost 20%. Which you can generate more revenue for with one sales rep when you focus on the onboarding. And another advantage is that people just stay longer, they are more motivated when you take them by hand and onboard them in the right way. You can avoid losing 115,000 due to a bad hire and to not onboarding them properly. And you also want to make sure that people retain their know-how, because 84% of all what we learn is actually lost. And this is actually quite a challenge. Who of you guys remembers that when you are attending a webinar, attending a certain kind of seminar, whatever, and you look back like 3 months later, not much is there anymore. This is exactly this 84%. That's why you have to repeat this over and over again to make that happen. And the question is really, what do you invest in your onboarding program? What do you invest to get that out? Yeah, you cannot expect the sales team driving a Ferrari, yeah, when you don't help them with the right oil into their Ferrari, and this oil is the onboarding. Yeah, they will not come far if you don't get the right oil and the right gas into your Ferrari, but this gas and this oil is actually done within the onboarding that they can really drive in their roles. Thanks everyone for joining. It's great pleasure to have you here. A quick introduction about ourselves and about me. Our vision is really here at Kickscale to onboard and train every seller so they are successful. This is the majority why we are doing this, why we are showing you today an onboarding template, why you get free access up to 3 users to the onboarding platform, and why you can book a free consultation session on helping you to set up the onboarding program. It's our mission to help you guys. I cannot see this anymore, that sales enablement, sales onboarding, and sales training is only there for those who can afford it. It has to be a common thing that sales onboarding, training, and enablement is there for every one of you guys. That's why we're here. That's why Kickscale makes sales onboarding and training fun. Yeah. And we help small and medium businesses with the most affordable sales onboarding and training solution on the market to get your sales reps up to speed. Because if the sales reps are up to speed, they are happier, they are more productive, and it just makes more fun in working together with them. A little bit about me. Again, thanks for having me. My background lies in software engineering, which is already a long time ago. And 10 years ago, I started my B2B marketing and sales career, and my journey was part of a Series C startup as the first marketing and sales employee, scaling more or less from 0 to over 20 million in annual recurring revenue. And after that, we helped also various other startups to scale in the same way. And today, we are helping sales professionals to hit quota with the sales enablement platform, Kickscale. Before we jump into how the onboarding process looks like, and again, sharing that with you, the whole template and so on, I'd like to once more emphasize the challenges in building a great onboarding programs. You might wonder now, why are only 4 out of 10 companies having an okay-ish onboarding program? And there are a couple of reasons which I'm going to share with you right now, because I was also once in the shoes to build an onboarding program, and guess what? I have not properly done it. I made some videos, I recorded some, I shared these videos with my team, I made some documents, but it was far away from a very structured and very good onboarding program. Why? First of all, I didn't have time and resources. I started as a first-time sales manager and hired immediately 4 SDRs, and I just didn't have the time, or I didn't take the time, however you want to see that, for properly onboarding them. It was a huge mistake looking back. Yeah, looking back, I would say you rather take a couple of weeks to build that structure up as best as possible, probably hire one person, tell them also that the onboarding won't be perfect, but after that one hire, you want to have it in an 80% great way, but don't do it the other way around. You will burn out your sellers, you will not provide the right information they need to perform, and then it's just chaotic and not working out as you think it works out. So that's the main reason, time and resource constraints, why sales leaders and sales enablement leaders not build it. Especially in a company where you don't have sales enablement, it's even worse, because you as a sales leader have to build it. Number one reason, it was also one of the main reasons my challenges I had, because I had no time and did not have enough resources. The second thing, which wasn't so much my problem, to be honest, but is also a huge problem for people who join a company and don't know about the product, the industry, and so on. I was working at this time when I took over the inside sales team 5 years at the company. So I knew the product and the industry in and out. This wasn't a problem. It was still a challenge to give this know-how to the new joiners. But if you put someone in the head role of sales, yeah, and they have never sold your product, oh man, it will be hard, because you need to have understanding of the industry, understanding of the pain points, understanding of the product, and so on and so forth. And if you don't have that, it's a challenge. You need then someone who can help you with that to actually build that up. So very important, product. And for me, product is also the industry and taking that on. The other thing we see a lot is, and also I experienced it with myself, when I started to build that up, I had no system in place. What do I mean by that? There was no continuous learning and skill development, which was forced or managed or maintained by someone. Yes, there were a system, there were an e-learning system and a course platform available, but it was too complex. It took me ages to create content. I had to distribute it. The reporting was quite hard to see who watched it. It was very hard to do that. And so it was not possible to have actually a continuous learning and skill development. But this is what you need, not only during the onboarding. Don't get me wrong, the onboarding is probably the most important part you should focus on, but it's also very important to continuously take care of all these steps after the onboarding as well. Because again, 84% of all things we learn are lost after 3 months. The ones we apply on a daily basis aren't lost, but trust me, I onboarded in my career tons of SDRs and BDRs, and the challenge is they are getting so much information at one time, so you need to structure it. That's also what we are going to look into today. And reinforcement. You need to reinforce and enforce the training part and the onboarding. If you don't have a checklist, if you don't have something where you know this, and that needs to happen in week 1, week 2, week 3, you are fucked. Why? It will get chaotic. There will be quotas assigned to you as a sales leader. There is end of quarter, end of month. It will get chaotic. And if you don't have structure in place, it will be hard for you to perform here the right way. So reinforcement of that is very, very important. And how can you do reinforcement? How can you reinforce it? To measure it. You need metrics and performance measurement. If you cannot measure what's actually going on, you will be failing. That's not only in sales, but that's even more important in the onboarding part. Because if you don't get feedback from your sellers, what was good, what wasn't good, it will not help you improve the onboarding process for the next hires. But even worse, the seller you are onboarding right now most likely will be failing. And that's what you should be avoiding at any cost. Because as mentioned, remember, I write that number once more down here, 115,000 US dollars is the cost of a bad hire and not onboarding them the right way. There are systems in place to avoid the bad hire. We will not cover this today. There are other playbooks which we have on avoiding to hire someone who doesn't fit into the culture, into the role, whatever. But today we focus on the second part of that is how can we make sure we onboard this person as best as we can. So we actually have here the main challenges as number one, the time and resource constraints, the know-how about the product, the continuous development and skill development, the reinforcement, and metrics and performance measurement. So what do you need as an additional, so to say, sixth part here? What's required? And there is a system. Yeah, you need a kind of system where you can make all of this happen, where you can easily and with low effort build your onboarding material, where you can put in the product material, or you even someone else in your organization, because even if you are a sales leader, not everything should and has to come from you. Yeah, there is also responsibilities from HR, responsibilities from product to help you get that going. You need some system where you can continuously learn and develop new skills that are required. You want to reinforce it, means like if there is an update, if there is something going on, you want to inform your team and you want to measure it. If you can't measure it, it will be very challenging for you guys to make that happen. And this is what we are talking right now about. Remember, at the end of the webinar here, once we are through, I'm sharing with you the sales onboarding process and template with 60+ steps. You get free access for free users to build all of that and to overcome these challenges. And if you'd like as well, we offer here a 3-hour coaching and consulting session, how you can build your onboarding program. But now let's look into what are actually great onboarding programs. And we have seen over the last 10 years, dozens of companies, high growth companies, and we came down to these 3 things, and I marked them here for you. The first part is process, the second is training, and the third is measurement. These are essentially the 3 most important parts of great onboarding programs. We have seen companies who have the process in place. We have seen companies who have the training in place, but not the process and not the measurement. And we have seen companies who have great measurements in place. They have great feedback loops, great quizzes available. Yeah, they do interviews after a month of onboarding and so on, but they have no process and have no training they offer. So what's important here on these 3 pillars? First of all, why do you need the process? And call it standard operating procedure, call it playbook. At the end, it's a step-by-step process. And you need that first to give your new joiners some guidelines. They need to know what's happening before you join, when you're joined already, and also obviously when you are in your first days, first weeks, even first months. Why a process? Process gives you security. Process gives you security. That means once you onboard someone and they have a clear process and clear expectations, I see process and expectations as one. Once you have that, you can and should leverage that in the right way. The second part is the training material. So you can have the best process. Yeah, if you write in the process, okay, week number 2, you should be learning how you sell our product. But if you don't have the training available, in person or virtually, online courses, coachings, whatever, you will be failing. And with training, I mean 3 essential parts. How to sell, and this is all for me, mindset, characteristics, objection handling, how to do meetings, how to do prospecting, cold calling, emailing, LinkedIn, social selling. I can go on and on. There are tons of topics new joiners need to know. If you onboard now a senior seller with 10 years experience, obviously this is not as important as if you onboard someone fresh out of college or someone with 1 or 2 years of experience. They need this information, handling objections, 10 proven methods of objection handling, a cold calling script. The people who listen more often to our webinars knows I'm not a fan of scripts, yeah, but I'm a fan of guidelines. I'm a fan of playbooks that, you know, every cold calling script needs an opener, needs a hook, needs a value proposition, needs a call to action. And all these things you guys need to consider when building up this training material and the playbooks. How to sell, the basics of software sales, the basic of sales. People need to get it. I unfortunately haven't provided all of that. I would love to, but we didn't have this material available, or I didn't research it, right? Because there is so much content out there on the internet, and we will be showing you also how you can leverage just content on YouTube and onboard your sales team better. The second portion and the third portion is obviously industry and product know-how. I'm not the biggest fan of explaining every SDR, BDR, every new joiners the product in all the details, but I'm a big fan of explaining them the industry challenges, the problems, the industry-specific keywords which are in there heavily. Explain that heavily. The product solves a certain problem, and you need to focus on the problem first that you can solve. This problem, with your solution. So these are the two things, which needs to be in place: the process as well as the training. It's great, and lots of companies have a stellar process in an Excel sheet, in some Google Doc, whatever, on Confluence. They have even some training material linked to that, which is great. But where it's then falling apart is that no one measures it. No one measures, first of all, what kind of training material was consumed. How long was it consumed? Because it's obviously a difference if I watch a video in level 3x or I don't watch it at all, or if I take like notes and apply it already and so on and so forth. And number 3, this measurement part. Let me tell you a story about that. We had once a customer who had their onboarding program in a simple Google Sheet. And the onboarding was good. There were like 30 steps in there, what needs to happen. Then there were also some training he did personally and some other online trainings and online courses and so on, which was also good. But the challenge was no one was measuring it. No one was measuring it. What should happen in kind of week 1, what should happen in week 2, and so on and so forth. And this is just what should happen. The other part, which I think is even more important, is what have new joiners learned with quizzes, with feedback, with satisfaction, with ratings, and building up a whole gamification system around that people really love to get onboarded and that people really take this on. Okay, now let's look into the topic of how you can build your own onboarding program. And for that, we have prepared an SDR and BDR onboarding template. Again, this can be applied to any kind of AE, to any kind of role you want to onboard, but we focus on SDRs and BDRs today and share with you this template. Therefore, let me open here Kickscale as a platform. And I'd like to share with you very, very quickly how this looks like and how actually such a playbook looks like. You see here the onboarding playbook. We use that, our customers use that to get sales reps onboarded faster. What's in there? You see there is some welcome part, there is some onboarding goals, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. You see that there is always some main chapters, which could be the weeks, as you can see here, or even the onboarding goals or welcome. Then there is something before your start, what should happen before the start. And then there is some kind of introduction and tool setup already week 1, and this is going through here. So let's start with the onboarding goals. And I hope you see already now, that this gives you a ton more of structure. Why? You obviously can assign that, and you should assign that to your team. I do that now for me. And this is just a standard template. This is not customized to anyone. But imagine when I'm now starting again in the company, I come in and I see that in front of me. I first of all see I'm at 0%. I just started, obviously, and I get a video here, which you can easily record or you can get from YouTube and some. Be creative on that side. People appreciate it when they get something out here. And this is our standard video where we introduce the role, what's going on, and so on and so forth. And once people watch that, and please don't worry, there is also a system check, especially for the leaders within you. There is a system check that the video actually has to be completed, and then you can press the complete step. But I disabled that right now for our showcasing purposes. But you can easily make there some settings that it's a time window or the video has to be completed and so on and so forth. So you find here now, welcome to our sales onboarding program, and can leverage that. And you when I go back here in our template, what we are customizing, onboarding, what we are customizing today, for that onboarding goals, you can easily here record a video. Loom is natively integrated, for example, but you can do that with any kind of other service. And you can record here the camera and can start recording and say, hello and welcome to our organization. It's a pleasure having you here. I'm Gerald, I'm your sales manager and here for any kind of questions, and very, very happy to guide you through the 30-day goals, the 60-day goals and the 90-day goals. And let's see what's coming up here for you. You can easily insert that video now. Again, you can leverage any kind of YouTube video you have out there. Yeah, it's absolutely not a problem at all. Even for existing people who do the onboarding, I could update them now. I will not do that, just to let you know here. And so you see how easy you actually can build the onboarding program. You have that in here. You have a very nice video in there. People feel welcomed, people feel appreciated and can leverage that. Obviously, you can change everything you like here in the text as well, and so on and so forth. You can add external resources to make the onboarding at the end really an experience. So what do I mean by that? You go through here, 30 days, for example, you have a complete overview, what needs to be done in that 30 days. Can again here add a video, even a YouTube link if there is already something available from your company. A lot of organizations have that. They have publicly available information where you can leverage that. And so you can go through here the 30 days, the 90 days. This is a template, right? So you can actually customize it towards fully your needs, right? You can add here your very own goal. Yeah, you can totally do that and totally leverage that however you like. But you start always with a template. And remember once more, and this is why this is so important, that's what we want to avoid. We want to give you guys time back. So you have a template where you can start with, and there is no excuse or less excuses because you have already something. And trust me, having something is always better than having nothing. And that's exactly why we are showing that, to avoid these time constraints and looking into that topic. So I delete this row now, just that we have that in. You see here the 30 days, the 90 days, and so on. Important, give your team, the new joiners, give them what is the goal after 30 days? To have the elevator pitch, to have the value prop, have a personal thesis, that you know what's your story, why you joined the company. There is a great playbook about storytelling from Helena, Klaus, the co-founder of SDRs of Germany, where she explains how important this is. Because that's the second part, what I will be showing you in a bit, yeah, that you also should assign certain playbooks and training material to them so that they get onboarded the right way. I jump a little bit through. You have the 60 days, obviously the 90 days. And then before you start, yeah, there are a couple of things like give them all the information about the company, give them all the information about the industry. We learned today that it takes 4.9 months in average to bring a seller up to speed. Guess why this is? Because they start on day one, and that's where they get all the material. But if you start 2 weeks earlier, 4 weeks earlier, once they have signed, give them the access they need for company information, industry information, and so on and so forth. Give them even some influencers. Yeah, this is just an example. They can be following on LinkedIn because they will build up their LinkedIn profile. They will be obviously as sellers a lot within LinkedIn. So give it to them that they update their LinkedIn profile and so on and so forth. And then obviously you have for every week, in that case, you can structure it obviously completely different, but I find it very helpful having week 1, then the days, then week 2, and so on, what's going on. What we recommend is having 3 parts of the onboarding. And first is before an employee starts officially as sales rep, give them already information, give them everything they need to perform that job. Yeah. one SDR we hired, we worked together with him. Alex, yeah, was a great SDR, and he got also a new job, yeah, and moved on. And we saw that he didn't get, for example, onboarding material before he started. And he was asking for it. He said, hey, Gerald, what do you think? Would this make sense? And I said, yes, totally. Give them already material that they can learn already certain things. And then the first 2 weeks, make sure you give them the right playbooks, the right structure, that they learn everything. How? There is the possibility of predefined training material. We have a ton of that, but just go into YouTube, for example, and Google about cold calling, and you will find tons of things. Not saying that these things are always good. That's a little bit the problem. You as a leader have to check that, have to monitor that the quality is fine, have to check certain other things. That's very important, yeah, because otherwise you won't be happy with it. But at the end, you can also build an onboarding completely with YouTube, but you need the system in place. And here, for example, before you start, right, imagine you guys, the basic of SaaS sales. If you are in software sales, it's hard to understand all the terms, CAC, CLTV, MRR, ARR. We asked a ton of employees, and they said it's a nightmare for them to remember all of these terms. Or copywriting, how to write unignorable emails, how to create content, how to get replies on emails. All these things you can give them and assign them upfront. What do I mean by that? You can go in there and assign that to them and assign this playbook, and then they can walk through exactly that playbook. Yeah, what makes a prospect to reply? Yeah, where we have a hands-on exercise with some things that they learn that from the very ground on. And again, also here, you can always customize that. You can put in your own templates. If as a leader you want, and in my opinion, you should spend the time to customize that. But back to the general onboarding playbook, which we have in there and which we leverage there on the SDR and BDR onboarding. I recommend you guys having 2 weeks of really theoretical input, but obviously also already joining some other calls that there is some practical insights. And furthermore, I recommend in work 3 and 4, work it. What does this mean? This means you have done the job as SDR, for example, already by yourself after week 3. I'm not a big fan of taking 1, 2, 3 months of theoretical training and then getting into the field. I'm a big fan of having like a crash course, 1, 2 weeks, intensive material, which is herein, probably even 1 day on site, and then starting with the jobs and really doing it day by day. Same counts for week 4. There are obviously some multiple things in, but in week 4, it's really applying that and having the scheduled sales meetings that you can come to week 5. And listen to me, this is very important now. Once we have started to certify people, this was where I was part at the company, Series C company at Bitmovin, from more or less 0 revenue to over 20 million in revenue. Once we have started with sales certifications, it was a game changer. Why a game changer, and what is a sales certification? A sales certification is 5 parts essentially. It's the prospecting and sales process, it's the sales skills, it's the product know-how, it's the industry know-how, and it's the certification core, ideally with some senior VP or even with the CEO, depending on your company. What does this mean? You have actually here, and this is just an example I put in here, a quiz, and you can generate your own quizzes. And even if you'd like, you can ask ChatGPT here, what is important when talking to prospects, yeah? So you can generate out of that. We have integrated AI to make it as easy as possible for you guys to build playbooks. That's really our mission. We want to make it as easy as possible. What is important when talking to prospect, you get here certain answers back, making unrealistic promises to close the deal. Yeah, probably it's not the best thing. Listen attentively to the prospect needs. Yeah, absolutely. Speaking knowledgeably about the company. Yeah, and also being persuasive and assertive to stay really in touch with them. You can add this, and you see, this is how easy you have generated a quiz. You can also ask open questions, and you should, yeah. And so you can build up very easily your onboarding program. Same counts, actually this was for part 2, for the sales skills. Actually, this counts for the sales skills as too. What do you think are the most important sales skills? This is an open question, yeah, but I want that people also have the possibility to have open questions in there. Again, let's add another open question. What are your biggest learnings so far for sales skills? Whatever, yeah, you can make that happen however you'd like. And you can also now add a multiple choice, for example, what are the most essential sales skills every sales development representative should have? Again, oh, tapped in the wrong field. Again, you can ask here the AI, and you can also use the context from this step. If there would be a lot of text in, we analyze this current step with also newer know-how, because it can be customized to the industry and build that out here. So this quiz builder makes it very easy. Let's see, what is it? Communication skills, product knowledge, which are considered, yes, absolutely. Language, coding, and graphic design skills, no, yeah. Athletic prowess, exceptional music talent, no. Add knowledge of, no. Please select the correct answer, yeah. So, and here, for example, let's say also objection handling as one, which is correct, and cold calling stuff, which we can add to, which is also the correct answer. So you have built up here a quiz. You can do that for the product know-how, obviously, as well. You can do it for the industry know-how. And then what I recommend you is make a certification call. Yeah, I want to say a big thanks to Stefan Lederer here from Bitmovin, who forced it actually. And guess what happened? He was part of certain calls. He was the CEO and co-founder of Bitmovin. He was part of certain certification calls. And what's needed for that? There is a preparation needed where you paste some email templates, you book the meeting with, where you paste some LinkedIn templates, you recorded an outbound call, an inbound call. You are doing both together, and you share an opportunity which you have qualified. And then afterwards, there is a certification call where you show your workflow, how you work. You actually show your whole workflow for inbound as well as outbound, and you share some general information, and you get asked some questions. Once you are done with that, you are officially certified. You obviously need a certain score and on the quizzes to pass, and so on and so forth. If you are not passing this, you have 1 more week, in certain cases 2 more weeks, to get this going, get this lined up. Otherwise, you are fired. Means like it wasn't the right role, and so on and so forth. Why is this important? I hate it. Why I'm saying the word fired. I hate it when, and I did the same mistake, yeah. We onboarded people 3, 4, 5 months, didn't give them the proper training, didn't give them the right onboarding playbooks. And then we saw, hey, actually, it's not the right job for them. So actually, we wasted 4 or 5 months, and they wasted also 4 or 5 months of their lives and careers. With this structured onboarding process, within 5 weeks, you essentially know for you and also for the hire, is it really a fit, and can this business relationship work? Again, great hiring can avoid a lot of things, but you will not hire always the right people. That's just not possible. So you will have here certain things where it's necessary to track that down. And that's why I'm telling that, because with that, then you complete the onboarding. Once the onboarding is complete, you get a certification, and so on and so forth, and have that done. That means I can now, once more, just to give you some thoughts here, I can assign that once more to me. And we'll show you then how this looks like as a leader when you go through. And just to let you guys know, there is the possibility that you can say, I want that 10 seconds. Everyone needs to go 10 seconds through that Playbook, then you see it counts down there, and you can do various other settings, yeah, just to make sure that people really watch it. I will disable that because I don't want to wait here on that side, but you as an admin can define it. So you go through this kind of playbooks. You see here the video. Hello and welcome. The video we just recorded is actually in there. And let me know what you guys think here, yeah? But this is something which is a lot more personal, which is a lot better when you see a video, ideally of your boss, yeah, onboarding you on that side. And then you complete all these steps, you go through them, you complete that, yeah. You have also the possibility, and that's why I jump a little bit down, you can always provide feedback. And let's complete this playbook. It takes some time. So you really see here, this is the example I wanted to share. Here, the industry introduction, this is for us, for example, we just say, what is sales enablement? What is and why it matters? And you can,
hey everyone, I'm Kyle.
Here, directly out of that, you can actually play that video for your onboarding, right? And obviously, Kyle, great content. I checked it out, love it, and very professional here. And imagine when you give someone that structure, it will help a ton to them from an onboarding point of view. Again, you don't have to use YouTube videos here. You can also upload your very own videos, depending on what you have. So when you then go through this whole playbook and check this out, check every step out, and you see how much content there is on certain things, there is empty pages with some templates, because you should also get something in. And obviously record the videos too, but you have there tons of content which you can go through. I jump now a little bit further down to show you what I actually wanted to show. We start with the certification, and here, this is how the certification looks like. Whatever, you can, employees, you can paste here certain things in. What is important at the end of your day? You had a couple of meaningful, you moved certain leads forward, you learned something new. What is important when talking to prospects? So, and you obviously can complete that. And you as a leader, you see exactly that screen. And once you analyze these results, as a leader, you can see what was good, what was bad, was this person on point? And you also see what the open things were and how this actually looked like. So this is how this looks like. You see, you can then fill all out. You cannot complete the quiz until you filled it out. Yeah. Listening. Yeah. What are biggest learning so far? Sales. Life is a sales talk, but you need the right playbooks to be successful in sales. Yeah. Then you have here, I just do now something, yeah, complete that, and you actually see that here are the wrong answers checked. You as a leader see that too, can report on that, and so on and so forth. In your dashboard as a leader, you obviously see then when you go into the onboarding playbook, for example, you see exactly who started this process and who did not yet start it, and can check it here on exactly that side. So you have a very, very great overview also about my playbooks, which ones are in process. Obviously, these are now some of the testing we did here, but which ones are in process, and so on and so forth. That's how you see it, and you can monitor on that. The other thing I'd like to share with you is, obviously, when you say, I'd like to give my guys the sales mindset we built together, you can assign these playbooks as well. Let's assume this is due until 8th of June. This is directly out of our marketplace. So we have 43 playbooks in there right now, including the sales onboarding template I shared with you today, and we are going to share right now with you, but also like storytelling, for example, by Helena, Klaus, as mentioned. Thanks a lot, Helena, for that great content. Why storytelling? Why this is important? And Helena really teaches us here the right things about storytelling and why this is essentially important. And I can customize that if I like, yeah. I'm editing now my existing copy, and you can change any kind of things. If you tell your story differently, you can do it here. And then you can also assign that one. Again, I do that here also on the 8th of June. You can assign that, and same as you monitor now the onboarding process, you actually monitor here the sales mindset and storytelling. Yeah. And when we go into my progress, when you come in the next time, you actually see that storytelling, I started now, and go through that, and again, can make that happen. I hope this helps. Yeah. One final thing I'd like to share with you as well, which is very important for other onboardings. You obviously can also share this onboarding template with everyone else. You can copy that link, and I've prepared that link here. So you can copy that link, and then everyone can get access to this resource. So what I had a lot of times is friends of mine, yeah, revenue leader colleagues, they ask me, how did you do the onboarding process? I made a copy all the time, shared my sheet, whatever. So you can share that also very easily. And obviously you can white label that too. I hope this helps you guys to really onboard your team better. So now back to what you actually get. Yeah. You get exactly the template, and I'm pasting that right now into the chat for you guys. This is actually the template you get for the onboarding. Yeah. So this is publicly available. Feel free to share that link. Yeah, but it's generated for today for this playbook, what we are sharing. You can access that. I just posted it into the comments. The second thing for the onboarding is you actually can, and you have then the templates also available here, create an account at app.kickscale.com where you can monitor all this execution. Because again, the content without the measurement, the execution is worthless for you. So look into that, take care of that as well, and then we make that happen. And the third thing you are getting is book your free consultation session. And actually, this consultation session is a 1 hour where you actually, and I open that here, where you actually can book your meeting. I pasted also in the chat, book your meeting, where you actually can book a meeting with us if you liked it today, to go through what do you have already. Do you have a PDF or a slide deck or a sheet which we can migrate over so that you and your team loves onboarding? Because trust me, we have also a customer, 200 pages slide deck is, the experience is not where you need them. But here you can structure more playbooks or one big playbook and take it from there. So feel free to now access here the playbooks, sign up for app.kickscale.com so that you can actually take this on, and feel free to book your call. We obviously will also forward that afterwards via email to you guys, exactly what you have here, the access, the sign up, and the book here. And with that, I hope you took something out of that. Again, the key learnings, right, which I wanted to share with you today is great onboarding doesn't have to be complex. But the thing is, you need to have some framework, which we are more than happy to provide to you, that you can leverage and that you can build the process, access the training material, and then measure also what's going on. Thanks a lot for joining. Thanks a lot for staying in there. Wish you a great day. If there are any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, to contact us at any time. And with that, have a nice day to the ones who are joining us from the United States. Thanks again. I know, especially on the West Coast, it was early, yeah, but I hope it was worth it. And for the ones in Europe, wish you a great evening, great afternoon, and take care. Bye-bye.